Mystic this year with another Game Boy pickups video for you guys. And yes, of course, once again, lots of packages all here from Listia. A lot more Game Boy packages to go through. So let's just dive right in and take a look at what I've recently, over the past couple weeks, actually gotten from Listia. Like I said, I have so much stuff to show you guys. So we're going to get through some more of it right now. So again, let's just dive right in. All right, first package here, as you can see, nice square package, which means we have a box Game Boy Advance game. We have Smashing Drive. Now, I'm not a big fan of collecting boxed games. In fact, what I usually do is I just take the game out, put it in my collection, and then I sell the boxes on Listia, because there are people out there who do collect this stuff, and I really rather the boxes go to somebody who actually, wants them and collects them, as opposed to somebody like me who just, I'm not really into collecting like the manuals and the boxes and stuff. It'd be different if I knew that like every game I was going to have a box manual to, but since 95% of the games I'm going to pick up over the years are not going to have a box and not going to have a manual and stuff like that to it, I'm just like, I don't really care. So anyway, very cool though. Smashing Drive. This game was all right. It's kind of like Crazy Taxi, but you're just smashing through stuff. The downfall is the fact that it's for the Game Boy Advance, and that's not necessarily always a bad thing, but the graphics are a bit limited, and you're smashing through so much stuff. You're driving all through kinds of crazy stuff, and you're smashing and ramping all stuff. Sounds like a lot of fun, but it gets to the point where the graphics get so like jumbled together at times, you don't really know like, what am I smashing through? What am I jumping? Like, it gets a little confusing. There's a lot on the screen at one time, which doesn't necessarily work for the Game Boy Advance. I've seen it work before, but for this game, not so much. They're kind of pushing what the Game Boy is capable of as far as graphics are concerned with this game, and because of that, it's not the best. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Kind of like, again, Crazy Taxi, just insane. But it was fun. I liked it. All right. Next package. We have 2 games in this one, which is always fun. All right. First thing we have here is Beauty and the Beast, a board game adventure. Yeah, it's a board game. It's Beauty and the Beast. I never understand this, but it is what it is. It's a Beauty and the Beast board game for the Game Boy Color. I don't understand. Like, if you're gonna take like, all right, you want to put Clue, or you want to put Candyland or something like that, on a game cart. Okay, fine. It's already a board game. I get it. But why like make up a new board game to put on? Like, I just don't understand it. It's just kind of weird. But it wasn't necessarily bad. It was okay, but it's just a board game. Rolling the die and everything like that. It's kind of weird. I don't really understand why put a board game unless it's already an established. Again, if it's an already established board game, I kind of understand. But why make up a new board game? Why didn't you just make like a cool platformer or something like that? You could have made a cool game. Who did this? Disney Interactive. You could have made a cool game, but no, you went the board game route. You went the lazy route with this one. So it is what it is. It's okay. It's just a board game. I can't really, tear it apart, because it's just what it is. And then we have Tetris DX, Tetris Deluxe, which is fun. It's basically just the same Tetris you've always, well, from what I played thus far. The show stuff like spaceships and stuff. I don't know, maybe things change, but from what I played thus far, it's basically just like the regular Tetris that came packaged with the Game Boy back in the day, which I think is still the best ever version of Tetris ever released ever, although this one here might give it a run for its money. From what I played thus far, I didn't get too far into it. I played a couple levels in. Nothing seemed to change. It's the same thing, just the Game Boy Color version of it. So it's colorized. It's a bit more, fancy. And to be honest, since it plays exactly like the original release of Tetris for the Game Boy, it is pretty awesome. It is an upgraded version, but not upgraded where they've added all kinds of new crazy things. It's upgraded where they just basically colorize it and just made it like a better game for the Game Boy Color. And this might actually be the best version. Again, I have to play it some more. But if it is just basically a colorized version of the original Game Boy Tetris game, then this is probably the best version ever of Tetris, in my opinion. So Tetris DX, very cool. I was expecting something more. Thought they were going to like change it up. I was like, oh, what are they going to add to this one? Because every time I get a new Tetris game, they always add something to it. This was just standard Tetris, which I thought was really cool. I'm glad they did that. So awesome. Classic Tetris right here, which is one of the best puzzle games ever. Next package. We have... oh, great. My third version of this. We have Marble Madness, which is such a classic game. This is a game I used to own for the Nintendo, the NES, back in the day. When I was a kid, I played it all the time. My brother and I used to play Marble Madness like crazy and get so frustrated because towards the end, the levels got pretty hard. In fact, when we were a kid, we never beat this game. We used to get pretty far in it, but we would never, ever beat this game because the levels just got too difficult, too hard to control those marbles on those tiny little, tiny little, like slivers of land you got to go around, stuff like that. Very, very difficult. So yeah, third versions that I have. I have the black and white version, the original Game Boy version. I have the Game Boy Color version now, and I also have the one that came in like a multi-pack for the Game Boy Advance. So I have 3 different versions of Marble Madness I can choose from. Fun, but I love the game, so I'm cool with that. Awesome, Marble Madness, a classic. All right, we have one game in here. Oh, but a damn good one. In fact, it was. We have The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I think we all know this is a classic. I'm so happy to have this. I have never beat a Zelda game in my life. I used to play the Zelda games back when I had an NES back in the day all the time. I used to play the Zelda games, and I would always get pretty far, and then I would just get to a certain part where I would like always die, and then I would never ever beat. And that's the way it was with the Zelda games when I was a kid. I would never beat them. I'd get far, but I would never ever beat them. I'm going to do it this time. It's time to finally beat a Zelda game. Finally time for me to go. I've at least beat one. So definitely had to grab this. Awesome classic. Unfortunately, in shipping, the case got cracked. And believe it or not, just the back of the case cracking off. I mean, it was the whole like corner here was popped off. It would not play, even though, it would be able to read it just fine. For some reason, it will not read a broken card. I was really surprised by the Game Boy Advance SP for not reading this. I really thought it would. I didn't think a little piece of the back missing would cause an issue, but it did. Luckily, like I said, it got broken in shipping. I was just able to glue it back together. As soon as I did that, it worked perfectly fine. So the game works perfectly fine now. So very, very cool. It's an otherwise perfect condition, but guys, when you package this stuff, see how it was packaged in an envelope. People do this all the time. They send me Game Boy games and they stick it in an envelope. Do not do that. Bubble envelope it. Envelope your Game Boy games. It'll save you trouble, because I've had so much trouble with games either missing or being broken, because a lot of times the games just like rip right out of just regular envelopes, or the games break like this. So there's always issues. I've never had an issue with a game in a bubble envelope. So bubble envelope your games, guys, please. So very awesome. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Looking forward to finally beating a Zelda game. That's going to be awesome. All right. And then we have... Oh, here we go. Back to what I was saying about board games. We have a triple feature set here of Battleship, Risk, and Clue. 3 board games, fine. You want to stick board games that have already, established board games on a cart? I'm okay with that. Board games are fun. I just don't understand creating, like I said, a new board game to put on a card. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why don't you just make the board game then? So anyway, these are classics. Battleship's awesome. Clue's awesome. Risk, I've never really played Risk. I mean, I know how to play Risk, but I've never really truly sat down and played a game of Risk. But Battleship and Clue are absolutely awesome. So very cool to have them very cool to have them in electronic form. That's awesome. All right, here we go. I don't know how you pronounce this one. This is it Ishadu Way of Stones? Am I saying that correctly? How do you pronounce it? I have no idea. I had never heard of this game until I bid on this on Listia. Otherwise, up until then, I had never even heard of this game, never knew it existed, and I have no idea how you play this game. I popped it in. It's some kind of puzzle game, but I didn't understand it. I'm gonna need to download the manual for this one. I do not know how you play this game. I didn't understand it at all. You're picking tiles, and it was, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what it is. I do not know how you play this game. That's all I can say about it. I popped it in. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. No idea what I'm doing. So I'm gonna look up the rules on this game. Maybe I can download a manual or something like that and actually figure out how to play it. So it's a puzzle game. I like puzzle games. I just don't know how you play this one or how you pronounce it. All right. We have, let's see, all right, one in here. Oh, but a good one. And this comes with a manual, too, which is really cool. We have Metroid 2, Return of Samus. Oh, so cool. It even comes with its case. That's awesome. Very cool that it comes with a manual. And this is another classic Metroid 2. Obviously, the Metroid games are just fantastic games. This is great. Game, again, another game I used to have back in the day when I was a kid for the Game Boy. I used to play it all the time. Love this game. It is so great. Definitely a fantastic follow-up to Metroid. I always thought it was really cool that they put the sequel to Metroid on the Game Boy. I always thought it was really neat of Nintendo to do it. Instead of just, making all these games for Nintendo and then just making ports for the Game Boy, the fact that they actually went and said, hey, let's actually make the sequel to this Nintendo game, this very popular Nintendo game that everybody loves. Let's make the sequel to it on the Game Boy. So anybody who wants, kind of a smart move. So anybody who really wants to play the sequel has to buy a Game Boy. Pretty smart move. So great classic game. I think we can all agree to that. Can't wait to play this one some more. Again, I haven't really played this since I was a kid, so looking forward to playing Metroid 2. Great classic game indeed. All right, and then the last package we have here, all right, one game in here. We have The Little Mermaid, Magic and Two Kingdoms. Unfortunately, the Two Kingdoms are not Magic Kingdom in Disneyland. That'd be awesome. No, unfortunately, you're just going around as Ariel and Flounder, and you're like blowing bubbles and collecting things, and it was boring. It wasn't very good. I didn't like it. I remember the Little Mermaid game for the NES. I loved that game when I was a kid. I know it was a game for girls, but I used to play it all the time. I actually had a friend who was a girl who owned that game, and we used to go to her house, and I used to play it all the time. It was a really fun game, like collecting the shells and stuff like that. It wasn't a very hard game, but it was a fun game to play for the NES, and this isn't that. This is kind of boring. Really didn't enjoy it very much. Again, a very watered down game. They water down games too much for kids these days and make them not fun. Oh well. So can't really say I enjoyed The Little Mermaid, Magic and Two Kingdoms. Not really the best game, but it is what it is. So alright guys, there you go. That's it for another Game Boy Pickups video. A lot more awesome stuff from Listia. I have one more video to do, one more video of Listia stuff to show you guys. That I'll also show you this week. And then we'll be done. Everything that I currently have, stuff's always coming in, so probably by next week I'll have another pile of stuff to show you. I don't know, but at least we've gotten through everything that I currently have, which is nice, because like I said, everything's been backing up. All my Game Boy games have been backing up, and I'm finally happy to finally get through them all and show them to you guys. So very excited about that. So all right, guys, that's it. So like I always say, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. Be sure to like this video, and if you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, hit that subscribe button. And if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com, head over there, check it out. There's a lot more to see there than just these videos. All kinds of stuff over at cinemasickness.com, including my entire Game Boy collection you can check out. So definitely head over there again if you're not already there. So all right, guys, that's it. I'll see you in my next Game Boy Pickups video, and I'll see you in my next Daily Sickness video. See you then, guys. Bye.